You just passed away, but you're only allowed to be reborn as something other than a human. What are you picking? Easy. I'm coming back as a spoiled golden retriever. I'll spend my days napping in sunbeams, chasing tennis balls, and getting belly rubs on demand. I'll wear little bandanas, get treated like royalty, and dramatically sigh when my owner doesn't share their snacks. Honestly, it sounds better than being human. 0 bills, unlimited treats, pure joy. If you could be reborn as anything, what would you choose? Subscribe for more stories that make you smile.
What's the craziest way you found out someone was cheating? I, 17M, borrowed my girlfriend's tablet to help her fix an app. Notifications popped up from a guy named Chem Tutor. She failed chemistry. I opened the messages, not tutoring. Dates, photos. I airdropped it all to her TV while her mom was in the room. I took snacks and dipped like it was my movie now. Hey. She said she was visiting her cousin in another city. I wished her a safe trip. 2 hours later, my friend sends me a photo. She's at the same concert I was supposed to go to, with my favorite hoodie, wrapped around another guy. I posted the pic on my story and tagged them both. She blocked me before the encore.
How old are you and what's your biggest problem right now? 60. Turned 60 at midnight. Happy birthday to me. You'd think after 60 years I'd at least get a pizza out of it, right? Nope. Apparently, my biggest struggle is craving pepperoni at 2 a.m. doubt 2:30s. I've hit that weird stage where I enjoy being left alone way more than I probably should. Peace and quiet sounds great, until you realize your social skills are rusting in the corner. 41. Got the degree. Got the experience. But apparently, the job market needs me to have 6 arms and 10 years of experience in something that didn't exist 5 years ago. Subscribe for more stories you didn't know you'd relate to. I found out my girlfriend had a second fiancé, and I met him without knowing. She told me she had family stuff every weekend. One Saturday, I went to a car show with friends, and there she was, holding hands with another guy. At first I thought, no way, maybe it's her brother? But then he kissed her. Full on, no doubt kiss. I was like, bro, no way. Later, I found out they were engaged. For a year, same time as me. She was planning 2 weddings, 2 lives, 2 everything. I didn't even confront her. I just left and never answered her calls. Sometimes the biggest wins are walking away without saying a word. If you had a similar situation, comment it below. Follow for more jaw-dropping stories you won't believe. I found something on my wife's phone that changed our relationship, and she never knew. I wasn't snooping. I asked her to share pics of our son. But when I opened her photo album, I found a folder titled My Perfect Men. Inside were pictures I didn't know existed. Me and our son teaching him to ride a bike, laughing while washing the car, playing games together. Small moments that meant everything to her. I had no idea she saw me like that. Happy, tear-spored and all. My wife's quiet and doesn't show affection the way I do. But in that album, I saw how deeply loved I truly was. That moment changed everything. It made me realize love isn't always big gestures. It's in the everyday moments. Has something small like this ever made you see your partner differently? Follow for more stories that make you see love in a new light. If I ever won the lottery and never had to work again, I'd never tell anyone I was rich. Every time someone asked what I did for a living, I'd pick something just believable enough to sound real. At a party, I'd say I consult small coffee shops on how to design their menus. At a wedding, I'd claim I write fake customer reviews for companies that need a reputation boost. Once, I told a guy I was a seasonal travel tester, flying to resorts to make sure their beds were actually comfortable. He spent 20 minutes asking how to get that job. Truth is, lying would never be about being shady. It would just be way more fun than admitting I sit by the pool for a living. What would your fake job be if money didn't matter? Follow for more stories that make you rethink your bucket list. Men, what's a cheat code you discovered in marriage that actually works? Say thank you, out loud, every time. Thanks for doing the dishes. Thanks for taking the kids. Thanks for grabbing my favorite cheese. It sounds small, but it keeps the love alive. It makes the little things feel seen. It stops one person from silently becoming the one who always does X. We don't let the mundane become invisible. And that changed everything. Gratitude is a cheat code, and the best part is, it costs nothing. Subscribe for more stories that make you see love differently. Want a few more relationship cheat code stories? One of the strangest cases I ever solved as a dentist. For 4 years, I had a patient with really bad acid erosion on his teeth, especially on one side. I kept asking if he was eating anything super acidic, like sour candy. Every single time he said, "Not really." We had tons of appointments because his teeth kept getting worse, and it drove me crazy trying to figure it out. One day, during a long visit, I just started listing every sour candy I could think of. When I said "cry babies," he lit up and said, "Oh, I love those. They're so sour." Turns out he was eating 1 to 2 bags a day. Mystery solved. 4 years later. Follow for more stories that make you say, "How did it take that long?"
What's a cheat code you discovered in real life that actually works? Before I book a hotel or flight, I always check sites like Expedia or Kayak to see what deals are out there. Say I find a hotel room for $100 a night. I don't book it online. I call the hotel directly and say, "Hey, I saw a promo for $100 online. I'd rather book with you guys than through a third party. Can you match that or maybe offer something better?" You'd be surprised how often they can. If you're polite and a little lucky, you might get a discount, an upgrade, or even a better rate. I've scored state rates, free perks, and even late checkouts just for asking. It really pays to be nice and speak up.
Rich people? What rich person habit could you never break, no matter how poor you got? People say stuff like, "I'll never buy off-brand ketchup," or "I'll still hire movers." That's not a habit. It's a luxury. For me, no matter how broke I get, I'm never touching a predatory loan. No payday loans. No maxed-out credit cards with 30% interest. That's how people stay poor. By digging a hole they can't climb out of, I'll live off instant noodles before I let debt own my future. That mindset's worth more than brand name anything. Subscribe for more stories that make you think differently. Want another like this with a different tone or topic?
What is saddest truth you've come to accept? I'm 32. Last month, I lost my dad. He struggled with addiction for years. And finally, I told him I couldn't talk to him again until he got help. It broke my heart, but I thought it was the right thing. 3 days later, he passed away. In rehab, during detox. I didn't get a final conversation. No closure. Just an endless list of questions that no one can answer. I'm angry. I'm heartbroken. And some days, I don't even know who I'm at. Him? Myself? The world? Sometimes you lose people you thought you had decades left with, and nothing prepares you for it. Comment your experiences. Follow for more real stories about love, loss, and life.
What is something your parents did that you now realize was absolutely unhinged? Here's a list of things that sent my mom into full-on hysterics. Using too many dishes while cooking, having bangs, boys with long hair, wearing a t-shirt, and jeans to a baseball game, we had to dress up. My dog barking, mashed potatoes made from scratch, the comic book store, the library. Honestly, just going anywhere. She once panicked thinking the house was on fire. No smoke, no smell, no flames. Just vibes. If this is relatable, comment your experience. Subscribe for more wild stories that hit too close to home.
What improved your quality of life so much? You wish you did it sooner. In my early 20s, I stopped pretending to know things I didn't. Instead of nodding along, I started saying, "I don't know. Can you explain?" And something surprising happened. People didn't judge me. They were actually excited to share what they knew. That simple shift opened up more real conversations, better relationships, and faster growth in my career. It made me more curious, more teachable, and way less stressed trying to keep up a front. Subscribe for more stories that make life feel a little lighter.
What's a green flag you immediately notice when meeting a new person? It's the little things, like how they treat the waitstaff at a cafe or bar. If they're polite, make eye contact, and say thank you without even thinking about it. That's a huge green flag. Or how they listen, really listen, without interrupting or waiting for their turn to speak. But the one that always sticks with me? When they just act like a real person. They laugh too hard and snort a little, stumble on their words, or admit they're nervous. It's human, it's honest, and it's comforting. What's a green flag you've noticed that stuck with you? Subscribe for more stories that say a lot with a little.
What's a bigger lie than the next 30 minutes of uninterrupted music? I'm around the corner. No, you're not. You're still at home, deciding what shoes to wear, knowing full well you're at least 20 minutes out. And we all know it. The worst part? We still fall for it every time. You say it with confidence like traffic's just gonna bend to your will. It's not even malicious. It's delusional optimism. What's the most harmless but obvious lie you've caught someone in? Subscribe for more stories that hit a little too close to home. What's a phrase you heard once that changed your thinking? The way you talk to your kids becomes the voice they'll use to talk to themselves when they grow up. That hit me harder than anything else ever had. Every sharp word, every sigh, every cold reaction. They weren't just small moments. They could carve themselves into my kids' minds, becoming the voice they hear for the rest of their lives. I didn't want my children growing up feeling small or unsure. I wanted them to hear encouragement, love, and strength in their own heads. Now, even when upset, I make sure my words build them up, not tear them down. It didn't just change how I parent. It changed the kind of person I want to be. Has one sentence ever completely changed the way you see life? Subscribe for more stories that make you think about the little moments. What's something 100% legal that feels like it should definitely be illegal? Tow trucks. 2 years ago, after an accident, I was dazed and just let the sheriff called tow truck take my car. By the time my partner and I got to the lot, it was closed. It stayed closed all weekend, unless I wanted to pay them $400 just to open it. I refused. Come Monday, I owed $450 for the tow and storage fees, $300 just for sitting there 3 days. And my car? Totaled. They even charged me a fee just to surrender the wreck. Towing companies prey on people when they're vulnerable. They have no empathy. It's disgusting how this is legal. Have you ever had a "this shouldn't be legal" moment? Subscribe for more stories that open your eyes to the crazy side of life. What's something you bought as an adult because you weren't allowed to have it as a kid? When I hit my 30s, a buddy and I were reminiscing about how we never had enough money for the big model rockets as kids. Then it hit us. We're adults. Now, we have money. That weekend, we dropped $2,000 on every rocket we ever wanted, spent a month building and painting them, then launched them all at a local park. We drew a crowd, had a blast, and by the end of the day, we gave every rocket away to the kids watching. Childhood dream fulfilled. Subscribe for more stories that hit you right in the nostalgia. What's the dumbest argument you've ever had? My cousin once tried to convince me that my favorite color wasn't blue. It was orange. Like, she genuinely argued with me about my own favorite color. I asked if she was sober, which only made her angrier. She even called my mom to prove her point, and got even more pissed when my mom laughed and said, "Yeah, it's been blue since he was 5. I just left after that. You can't win against someone rewriting your own preferences. What's the most ridiculous hill someone's tried to die on? Subscribe for more stories that are almost too dumb to be true.